Greetings YouTubers, it's me again, Jason Grady, and I'm back for another reaction video for you guys. Have you heard about a little film series called the Species films? I did see them. However, it's been over like years since we had a Species film. Well, I'm gonna do that for you guys. Today I am doing a review, a reaction video from Decker's Shadow of his review of the Species films. More specifically, the 3 films. Hopefully he will do the 4th, because it's a film series. But anyway, let's start with the 1995 movie that started it all. And trust me, when I get to the sequels, I have one little nitpick with the 3rd film, and I will get to that when I do a reaction video on that one. So, without further ado, let's dive into the world of Species with Decker's Shadow's review of Species 1. Here we go.
Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Decker's Shadow, the internet personality of the best hair.
Yep.
And as you all know, I am a big fan of Alien. To put it lightly. You could also say obsessed.
Yeah, the traditional xenomorph.
But a lot of that comes down to the xenomorph and its fantastic design by H.R. Geiger. Or Giger. Well, fuck it. The point is the alien
H.R. Geiger or Giger. You can pronounce his name in different ways.
He's a very good match for sci-fi horror, so it should come as no surprise that he also did the creature design for another sci-fi horror flick in 1995, Species.
Yep.
The usual science fiction tale of scientists has gone stupid. Species is about a creature that escapes from the lab, but this is a new kind of creature. Half human, half H.R. Geiger portfolio. Thus,
pretty much half human, half alien.
Are summoned to track down the specimen before it's too late. At which point the world really be fucked.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's take a look at Species and see if awesome creature designs alone can hold up a movie for a little over 100 minutes. Our story opens where any story should, if I'm to be honest. A group of scientists gathering a bunch of cyanide gas canisters together so they can kill the ever-loving fuck out of a young girl they're holding in a cell. I'm sorry.
Well, that's
because staring into the eyes of your victim
okay. That's
is the best way to avoid
interesting because he says sorry.
This sorry son of a bitch is Xavier Fitch, played by Ben Kingsley, and the victim of the cyanide gas, or the steam clouds anyway, would be Syl, played by Michelle Williams. Now we can sit here and cry about this all day, but
oh, an interesting fact here: both Ben Kingsley and Michelle Williams will be in Marvel films. He was in Iron Man 3 as the fake Mandarin / Trevor Slattery, the guy who pretends to be the Mandarin, and he does come back in Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, while Michelle Williams played Eddie Brock's ex-fiancée in Venom and Venom Let There Be Carnage. Pretty interesting that 2 actors in this movie were in the Marvel films. Pretty interesting.
But
oh yeah.
The source of the conflict that fuels this movie. It's kind of important for her to survive the first 2 minutes of film. Thus, she runs off into the convenient exit right next to the super secret laboratory. Now, this might be an adolescent girl versus a trained army in high security measures, but there's one thing they forgot to take into account.
Shouldn't it be more easier to have guards around the vents every 24 hours?
No need for stops or checks or any kind of security measures whatsoever.
And weird alien roping a woman who is having sex with.
But for some reason, they do have funky alien
which is still in her
transitions.
alien form.
No human splacking, though, very fortunately, as good girl Syl fucking murders the predatory pervert.
No, more like kind of bending him like a pretzel.
And she doesn't really talk all that much at all.
Well, technically, she...
And it makes sense, she was grown in a lab. match, so all she really has to go off of is her instincts.
Yeah.
$3.10.
$3.10?
Right.
And therefore, the first thing she's drawn to is money.
Well, she's a little girl, so... I mean, she's a half-human, half-alien hybrid,
Still
so...
unsure how to cope with people and
So-
questions they ask, still decides to run away. The only way she knows how, and get right back on another train. But her natural drive to survive demands she finds sustenance and...
Gets the money.
She went for the paper first, of course. Okay, eventually she does actually steal a bunch of food to go with her ever-growing mountain of cash, as she has so easily evaded the scientists, whose strategy seems to be slowly find the damage she caused and muse about how hard it is to catch her. Finch has an idea.
I'm on a team to track her. Hunt her down.
Yeah.
That's what their
Scientists
search party
and-
was missing.
scientists and
People actually
mercenaries.
Searching for who they're looking for. This introduces Michael Masden as Preston Lennox
Best character.
and Forrest Whitaker as Dan Smithson.
Hey, it's Saw Gerrera from Jedi Fallen Order, The Clone Wars, Rebels, and Rogue One.
We need your help, Dan.
Pretty good actor.
I know.
Now, all the movie goes over Syl's biology and how she was built cell by cell and what the fuck all went into that. Dan being an actual psychic with real, reliable psychic powers that are just done throughout the movie, they don't ever bring up how in the fuck that's possible. I mean, except maybe a scar on the back of his head, I guess. But even he doesn't see this coming.
What? Oh yeah, the train that Giger made.
And if my research incorrect, most of us weren't going to see it either. The studio thought it was too expensive to film for such a bullshit throwaway scene, and they weren't going to do it. But Giger himself actually funded the shoot by himself with his own money to the tune of $100,000. Nightmare train of skulls, spikes, worms, and death got you down? Well, that's nothing a mountain of chocolate pudding can't fix.
I really miss chocolate
Then, of
pudding.
course, there's the problem of Syl biology doing shit to her that doesn't have a fucking thing to do with her subconscious.
Hey, it could be worse for you. You can be possessed by Venom. Well, technically, Venom did possess your body
When it comes to
twice.
tentacles and young women, I'm
So,
used to it going in the other direction.
that's okay with you.
Never mind horrifying mutant puberty, though. The team's been assembled.
Uh,
the last two members being Stefan Arden,
Hey!
played by Alfred Molina,
Doc
and
Ock
Laura Baker,
from
played by
Spider-Man
Mark
2
Helder.
and Spider-Man No Way
Steve is a
Home.
cross-culture
We're
expert
really
who
happy to
has
see
a
him back
master's
in that
cultural
movie.
appropriation, however you want to put it, while Laura is a molecular biologist. Also, press's area of expertise.
And if I'm here, I think the shit has definitely hit the fan.
Trey Mercenary.
Or government-hired hitman. Either way, the point is before they can get anywhere in their mission, we see what the hell happened with Syl and the tentacles.
She becomes an adult in a nanosecond.
She has undergone a metamorphosis into an adult.
Pretty much.
Which, generally speaking, in mammals doesn't require a metamorphosis stage. But then again, she turned into Natasha Henstridge, so...
Beautiful
I guess.
girl. Beautiful
Before we get
woman.
any further with the
And she
present
still is
situation,
to
though,
this
it might
today.
be a good idea to cover how in the hell we got here. So Finch shows up once more to exposit the backstory of Syl. Seems said he thought it would be fun not just to listen for messages, but send some out.
They sent about a quarter of a kilobyte, including structure of human DNA, map of our solar system, population of the Earth.
DNA?
Huh?
Isn't that like the intergalactic equivalent of an unsolicited dick pic?
Could be pretty much like that, but oh, and trust me, when we get to Species 2, they added in another thing from them that, oh yeah, there was also some of the species DNA on Mars. Trust me, we will get to that.
As it happens, though, they got a message back but 2 years ago. First part was for infinite energy out of methane, but fuck that boring shit. The other part of it was an entire
no, that could be
DNA
more
sequence and
interesting to
instructions
have
combine it with
self-cleaning
human
energy.
DNA. Now, it seems smart enough. Why not do it to about 100 human eggs? Most of which did nothing, leaving only a handful to start growing, and even fewer surviving much past that.
2 were stored in liquid nitrogen. We allowed 1 to grow. That's his code name there, Syl.
Revealing to the audience what Syl is. An alien-human hybrid. Or a human hybrid, considering the other DNA isn't necessarily alien. I mean, it's different, but I mean, it's not like alien creature alien, and it could be potentially completely synthetic. It also turns out Syl's got a ridiculously fast life cycle, reaching infancy in but a few weeks.
We decided to make it female.
Yeah, I do
so
love
that
this
it would be
bit from
more docile
Lennox.
and controlled.
More
More
docile
docile
and
control. I guess
you
you.
guys don't get out much.
I guess you guys you don't go out much.
sandwiches, but it turns out all she ever wanted out of life was money and dick. But you see, she made weird noises when she slept, and they didn't sign up for that shit, so it was decided that Syl must die. Unfortunately, as we already saw, she evaded this attempt and escaped out into the world. She's already killed, and she will kill again, so they must find her.
And where is? Where she is?
Why, L.A., of course.
Los
It's
Angeles.
Like the recognizability of filming in New York, but you hardly have to leave the studio a lot to do it. Thus, while Syl sees the sights, the gang gets a tip-off of some weird shit that was found in a train car.
Something bad happened here.
Please tell me this psychic doesn't charge by the minute.
Yeah.
At least they figure out the cocoon.
Well,
piece of looking for
technically-
fully grown Syl in Los Angeles, which isn't the easiest task, considering she can act as weird as
I
all
don't
hell
know.
out here, and nobody's gonna pay it any mind because, well, it's fucking L.A. She can date a cat and take a dump in a trash can, and it's still not out of the ordinary. Of course, this means they have no leads beyond wait around in L.A., so they gotta think of something else to do in
And
the
that
meantime.
being?
Couldn't we try growing this creature with just its own DNA? We make up a version without including ours this time so we can investigate its vulnerabilities.
That'd be good.
Oh, but
Well-
secret government experiments just aren't any fun if you take out all the moral and ethical issues.
Well, technically, they need to do that because they're gonna figure out what they're against and what are they pretty much up against here.
They got time, though. Syl's just gonna sit there in a hotel room watching TV for a while, so on with a mysterious alien genetic experiment. With an egg that's, well, I guess it's an alien egg.
Well, are you sure about that?
Always a playback error, right?
Well,
When it's
yeah,
getting
it
good.
does look
Or
like
the
a
camera went
like a
dead
normal,
because, of course,
like an
it
alien
would,
egg, like
meaning that Laura and Press
our
had to head
human
into the
eggs.
experimental chamber together to switch it out. The only problem is, of course, the cell was pierced while the camera was off, and now they're locked inside with whatever the fuck they just cooked up.
Come on.
well, they want to see what they look like, so
Open the goddamn door! Open the door now!
General quarantine procedure. Something she obviously doesn't know about, having taken her mask off to yell at them. I mean, yeah, it's more dramatic, but congratulations, you're infected.
no, the thing was still inside the container. They're not infected, so no, they're not infected, Deckard. No.
Or not, as whatever they've made is a single massive creature, thus cross-contamination is somehow not a problem.
Look like something
They
from
still
The
are having
Thing.
all the time killing it, frying it flamethrower style, and even
Or something
stabbing
in
it to
Dead
all
Space
fuck with a
territory.
broken pipe.
It's dead. Open the door. It's dead, Fitch. Let them out. Oh, God. It's not dead.
Okay, that's new.
Okay, so little girl turned tentacle demon turned cocoon turned woman is crossbred with tentacle monster / mildew beast. Alright, this has been a productive afternoon.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fitch insists they follow protocol and, well, kill the two in the room along with Monster. But fuck it, that's nothing a little insubordination can't fix. Thus, everyone lives, and we can go back to seeing Syl continue her evil quest to destroy mankind.
By finding a male
capturing
to
the
reproduce.
lost bits.
I'm fine. Foreign, really? What? Oh, easy, easy.
I've got a party to go to and no one to take me.
I'll take you.
Only to be sniped by another woman. Ah, well, there's plenty of fish in the sea. There's no reason to not go all Mortal Kombat on the bitch and deliver some extreme chiropractic treatments.
Yeah. She went full Mortal Kombat on her by breaking to the wall and snapped her neck. Snap and break her spine. I would definitely like to see Syl in a Mortal Kombat game. That would be awesome.
With that out of the way, she takes what she's learned in the club, then snatches a different guy.
Yeah,
The one she killed over.
pretty much.
However, the heroes have tracked her down due to the activity on the stolen credit cards. Or they just find the damage she's done, keeping up with their usual strategy of being several steps behind Syl on her quest for fucking.
Well, technically there's one itty bitty problem.
You knew what we came here for.
I've changed my mind.
Wow, even the mutant monster one with insatiable desires for dick rejects the guy. And that's harsh. And of course, he's the kind of douchebag
Well,
that doesn't
technically,
give enough for an answer, so that's nothing a
he-
little tongue action can't fix. By the time the good guys get here and realize she didn't fuck him and just killed him, the question of why is answered quite quickly.
Insulin, diabetic, there you have it.
She could have just walked out. Why did she have to kill him?
I'm more interested in figuring out why she went all the way out there with him to begin with. I mean, if she can detect bad shit in his genetics from that far away, shouldn't she have been able to pick out a better guy from the club?
Well, technically she could. And there was a notification that if she detects a male that is not healthy for her, they're green. So that pretty much answers your question. And also pink for any food she will not eat. Seriously, go get the notification and go to Minty's channel of that video. You will definitely get your information from that. His top 10 things that you didn't know about species. Great video of his.
Or, maybe not. L.A.
Or,
the point is she slipped away and they all know
yeah,
she's out
LA.
looking for the D. And then...
more of that weird alien sex thing. Well, actually, it's underwater
that
since...
happens. For like 10 seconds. And it said that Geiger was very upset because the original cut had gone on for like 20 minutes and he really liked that. And not so much the massively edited down, completely neutered version that ended up in the film.
Well,
By the way, Sill's quest for the cock is interrupted when she runs out of gas and has to walk. Then gets hit by a car. Yeah, that part's probably slightly more important. Don't worry though, good guy John Kerry, played by Whip Hubley, rushes her to a hospital and even pays her bills. Not that it's going to be all that expensive.
yeah, she can do that. Just repair her back.
What's going on?
And all the treatment she got was at most a basic vitals check, so...
Yeah.
Probably like an $800 bill or something. So she goes off with her heroic savior to his place at his hot tub, where she can work her womanly wiles to their fullest potential.
Come on, please. Hey, that's a little fast. Whoa.
And going by her growth rate, she should have had your pants off like 3 hours ago. Wait, going by her growth rate, she's like less than a year old. Oh, God.
Well, technically, she's a half human, half alien, so... remember, she has a lifespan. She aged from a 12-year-old girl to a fully adult. So technically, she can have sex with anybody. So that's fine.
Thank holy fuck the heroes are driving up to stop this.
Yeah, pretty much.
Please. I want a baby.
What? Excuse me?
Okay, that's a pretty funny reaction from him. He's like, "What? Excuse me? We already met like minutes or seconds ago, and you want a baby right now? Lady, you're pretty weird."
And despite not wanting to be captured, it's never a bad idea to take a minute or two to murder your lover before you head out for the
Well,
night.
rescue her,
She
not
goes
love
the whole
her.
10 yards, transforming into mutant alien babe Sill and choking the man to death with her titty tentacles, killing the fuck out of him and managing.
Yeah,
to escape
Cell's kind of like a
while he
mix
walks around the
between a
hospital.
human and a
It's not
xenomorph.
like a woman running naked through the streets at night is even remotely hot in Los Angeles, so she gets a quick car and reads the team's lips to find out.
Yeah, I kind of wish we
Just
could get
wait
that
at the
version
club
of.
and hope she shows up. Sill's plans for the night are a little different with her new pet human hostage. Let's find out whose thumbs regrow the most impressive.
Oh yeah, this bit.
Alternatively, she
Yeah,
could
pretty
have
much
kidnapped
like
a
that.
man and been fucking by now, but still too much running time to go.
Well, the movie cannot end that quickly, so gotta keep on with the plot.
We see Sill's master plan involves multiple cars and fuck tons of gasoline. After getting all the pieces in place, she very blatantly walks up to the psychic, who realizes instantly who she is. But fortunately for her, has no idea what she's doing here. Thus, one short chase later, and Sill runs a car down
Yeah,
there.
to pretty much have the woman inside the car be the decoy and dies from the car.
It's good to know you had enough strength to sit up and even manage to get your gag off and decide to spend your last few minutes
Seconds,
like,
not
screaming
minutes,
instead of,
seconds.
I don't know, trying to jump out the side like the other woman did.
and they fire missiles at the car to make sure she...
Hold on, they had missiles in the helicopters?
Yeah, pretty much.
And they didn't try shooting her slightly sooner because?
Well, they don't want to cause any casualties, so they didn't have a good lock onto the car.
Well, then she wouldn't have been able to so easily fool them to thinking she's dead. After all, they found her thumb, so that's good enough, right? Thus, Syl died. Her hair, black.
Yeah.
And it's back to her quest for some dick. As she's selectively terrible at planning these things out, now she wants to specifically get the sperm of Mr. Arden.
Well, looks like Doc Ock is gonna get late. Yeah. Dr. Octopus himself gets laid with an alien. Good on for you, mate. Good for you.
This kind of thing doesn't usually happen to me.
Well, you could have told Peter that.
For quite a few days, right? And in that time, she went from
No,
looking
really,
like she
he
was
could have
12
just
to
mentioned this to Peter.
25.
Well, I'm just
so
joking.
at this point, shouldn't she look more like she's pushing 40?
Nah.
But then it wouldn't be as marketably sexy when they fuck the shit out of each other, making alien human plus human hybrid babies.
It started.
What started?
Life.
Oh, my darling girl.
The fuck are you laughing at, Arden? That's probably the most terrifying line in the movie.
Yeah, that's pretty much like that. And heck, there is even the tagline, like, they send out a message in space. This is the result. Or 2 years later, this is the response.
Seems Syl's not as interested in collecting Arden's child support, however, so much as his life insurance.
Yeah.
And she escapes into the night. Or into the sewers, so loading up on big fucking guns. The group
No,
presses forward to
flamethrowers.
stop her before she gives birth.
Well, there goes Finch.
That's not a good sign. But it seems instead of pickles and ice cream, she's got a craving for aged meat.
Yeah.
That means it's just Press, Dan, and Laura against the monsters.
Yeah,
mom
3
of the
against 1.
millennium. Also, this sewer set is getting a tad boring, so they discover a fissure in the wall leading into a cavern. The perfect location for an epic climactic battle.
Or she's about to get birth. Oh yeah, her grunts and roars. That's Frank Welker.
We're going to labor.
You know,
But
Megatron.
considering this
Fred
child has
Jones,
more
Ray
human
Stantz from the
than
Ghostbusters
alien
cartoon.
DNA and Syl does, shouldn't it take him longer to get to this stage? It took Syl a couple of weeks to become an infant. This has been, what, 5 minutes?
Well, technically, they can age accelerated. Because, if you remember, 12-year-old to adult in like a second or minute.
He's not only born, but big as hell. And circumcised. Funny thing, that alien DNA. Also a boy that's far more capable of mass reproduction. But he's probably not going to be able to manage it like Halloween parties or some shit.
Yeah. I could have sworn that he couldn't have like more of like more like an alien form instead of look like a kind of like a rejected necromorph design from Dead Space. Just saying.
Never mind his ridiculously accelerated growth, though. One flamethrower to the crotch and a dive into a pool of oil later, and that crisis situation is averted. Now they just have to deal with Syl, kinda pissed off that her newborn son died in such a stupid way, and will attack with all the
technically,
tentacles she can. But one quick slice later, and she's gonna go
she
after
can go after
CGI form
Press and
instead.
trying to get, well, no, trying to bang him. But
Which was a terrible, terrible choice. Damn 90s CGI ain't shit compared to PS4's real-time graphics.
yeah, if this scene was actually made like in present day, the CGI will be more realistic. Hell, even the Unreal Engine for The Matrix Awakens, more like realistic. And not only that, I did remember on Rambo Rap for Life on his review of the first movie, because I did see the trailer where Press has a shotgun and he shoot at Syl. I'm guessing that was intentionally be the original, wasn't part in the original ending. Please comment down to see that if that was true, because they changed that in the final version.
And I still say the PS4 isn't really that impressive. But
Well, we got the PS5,
she's
so
not
that's
dead
good.
Yet. Except, of course, they happen to have a handy-dandy grenade launcher, and oh, yes, she's very fucking dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, well, that's that. The threat to human life on Earth has been wiped out, except for those other frozen embryos I mentioned earlier. Oh, and the nipple tentacles left lying around, because what even is a quarantine?
Big rat.
Ending the movie on sequel bait, which isn't even used if the synopsis for the second movie is anything to go by.
Well, we're
Oh,
going
yeah,
to
there were sequels
get to that
came out,
next.
like, a decade or so later. Oh well. Anyway, that was MGTOW the movie. Species.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like what happens when you take a B movie and you just throw millions of dollars at it. It's entertaining for what it is, but I've seen this plot before in the 50s, or the 40s, or the 30s. Species doesn't stray very far from the established ideas when it comes to sci-fi monster features. It just does it a lot more expensively. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does put the movie in a sort of odd position. Fans of monster flicks will likely enjoy it, but a lot of those same fans would be perfectly fine with a lower budget presentation and the charms that brings. Higher budget movies, though, usually try for something a tad more believable. I don't mean with a monster either. Still was fine, whatever the budget. But the team of heroes is selected and brought forth for the adventure with the nuance of a beginner dungeon master's attempt at running their first campaign. Nobody knows each other beforehand, and almost all of their backgrounds are taken care of via tell don't show, which doesn't help very much. However, as awkward as the movie might feel with these things taken into account, like I said, it is entertaining. The monster effects are creative enough, and while the CGI leaves a lot to be desired, it's used in
H.R. Geiger did a good job on the creature designs
If you
themselves.
reverse the genders, I don't think I'd be allowed to show that kind of wholesome family entertainment.
Well, in Species 2, there was a male alien. So, we're gonna get to that later, or right now. Because I still got enough time.
Anyway, thank you all for watching. I've been Decker Shadow. And remember, don't stick your dick in crazy alien hybrid women. Because then they get your money, they get your car, your body's lying in a ditch somewhere. But come on, man, the car!
Yeah, they're gonna take your money! Anyway, that's my review of Species, Decker Shadow's my reaction to Decker Shadow's review of Species 1. And it's still a classic film. Well, I understand that the CGI was dated. For me, they could have just do a little bit more practical effects. The casting's pretty good. And also, having a human-alien hybrid going around to find the perfect mate to reproduce would have been an interesting idea. Heck, there's even, in the original script, I heard that there was going to be a love triangle between Cress, Laura, and Cell. I wondered why they cut that out of the movie, because that's still intact. A little bit of that in the final version. But anyway, stay tuned for my review of Species 2, which is going to be starting either right now or later. Or I'm going to do it right now. So, catch you guys later, and have fun and be excellent to each other.
Criminologist says there's no evidence of semen in the hot tub water. Well, maybe she took it with.
Okay, that's pretty funny.